In this session, I will show you the dynamic exercise and technique of what a static training is. We'll go into depth of the dynamic training later, but for now, the static training consists of training by yourself, solitaire. It can be something as simple as punching. You're remaining static because you're not really moving, and then you're doing the kicks. These things are considered static. You can even go into the katas and remain that as a static training. The dynamic part will involve that later with your opponent. But for right now, we'll get into the basics of what we can do to train for our own static training. Depending on the health conditions of the student, him or herself, you can modulate and regulate how much intensity you want to put in. The first off, what you want to do is go into the horse stance. And the horse stance is kind of like the foundation as we talked before. So in order to go into the horse stance, you move your left foot out to the side, keeping in mind that you don't want to just dangle your arms. You want to be able to cross your chest, your abdomen, solar flex area, and then step out at the sound of the ki. And we've talked about ki earlier on the other video clip. So now I will go into the horse stance. Now, the horse stance should be, some people say it should be shoulder width. And some of the styles go as far as going really deep. I prefer to go into a stance where I feel comfortable. When you go into the horse stance, your feet will be on rails. They're pointing straight ahead, not out to the side. When you go lower, like in Chinese Kung Fu style, you will have to take your feet, point them out, so that you can go lower. With the feet pointing straight ahead, it's a little bit more difficult. Your body mechanism does not allow you to be that flexible. So point your feet out if you want to go down further. But for right now, your feet should be pointing straight at a comfortable balance. And when you look down, your knees should cover your feet so that you cannot see your toes. Okay, so from here, your hands will go into what is called a holster position. There's different schools of thought in this. You can go up high or down low. Personally, I don't care whichever. You want to try to use both so that you can get a feel of which one you like better. I prefer it up here for the majority of the times. There will be other times when it might come in handy to keep it down here. The advantages you will develop on your own. This one, it takes less time to get to your target strike point. Down here, it might take a little longer, but you can get that little leverage, the distance, where you might want to be able to strike up straight. So that depends on where you're at. But we'll start from here for right now. So what we want to do is keeping our form. That's the most important part. That is the purpose of the static exercises, keeping your form. Now from here in the horse stance, in your hands in your holster position, you're going to get your left hand and rotate out straight down the line, striking with your first two knuckles. And when you strike, you're going to rebound just a little bit so that you have this Z pattern so that you're not straight out all the time. Now, doing this slowly, you will be able to see that I'm rotating my fist. This gives you a little bit more energy for the shorter distance than taking a wild Sunday haymaker punch, which is very uncontrollable. We want to keep everything tight and narrow so that it's more difficult to counterattack because you'll be up close, whereas you're not flailing your arms where you're just leaving yourself wide open. So the exercise is to keep your form as tight as possible. Now when I'm throwing my punch, if you notice, my shoulders are square. I'm not reaching out like this. I don't want to do that. I want to keep it so that my shoulders are square. Boom, like this. The whole time, my feet, my legs are burning because I'm doing this horse stance. So in fast action or normal speed, you will look like this. That is basically how we would train at our normal pace. Now, what I've been doing, this punch is called, for not many names, it's called the front knuckle punch. Front knuckle. Now this is your basic punch. This punch can go to the face, to the solar plex, and to any other targets of opportunity like the other person's fist that's coming at you. Now this is the hard style, so that you're injuring the opponent's weapon so to render it useless, so that if a person comes and punches you, if you cannot reach your opponent's main body structure, he's presenting you with his or her weapon so you can actually strike the hand of your opponent to injure it. And this is the same kind of concept as the kendo, where you can take the hand off. It's called kote in kendo. So this is your basic punch. Now, you want to be able to utilize your chi in Chinese and ki in Japanese. The air that you expel from your stomach gives you that extra energy. Gives you that energy when you punch. Now, when you're punching, it's okay to swivel your hips a little bit. Gives you a little bit more oomph. Now, for the next session, I will go into the different style of the punch.